Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue this lesson, the core of the soil, by Venkat Iyer. Before that, I have decided to write new words. So from the beginning, I have already recorded first video on this lesson. So I'm going to write the words from the beginning of the lesson. New words: lush, damp, quartz, fuzz, accelerated, adjacent, tiny, hibiscus, bloom, so this is lush, means thick, that damp means in a state between dry and wet. Dry and wet. Fuzz, fine hair, ज्याला आपण पुश म्हणतो किंवा लव म्हणतो. एक्झिलरेटेड मीन्स हॅपी, ॲडजस्टिंग मीन्स नेबरिंग, quartz, suitcase, tiny means small, hibiscus, flower, bloom means also flower. I will take a note of these words. Okay. Now I am going to write the words of today's session. yield, then awful, fertile, resort, inputs, resistive, okay. Now first word here, the quantity of something produced, awful means very extreme, fertile means productive, moral means the capacity of people to maintain belief. Last, resort means out of necessity. Out of necessity. Inputs means act of putting in. Resisted means to oppose. Now I am going to explain the further part of the story. The next thing Morudada wanted to do was spray some pesticide on the plants. After planting the moong seeds in the farm, the broker Morudada, writer's friend, he wanted to spray some pesticides. According to him, it was better for the plants and it was helpful to take good production of the crop. He claimed that it would give a higher yield. Yield means the quantity of something produced. म्हणजे जास्त उत्पन्न मिळेल अशा अर्थाने. दिस वॉज समथिंग वी डिड नॉट वॉन्ट टू डू. Writer was not ready for this. He was totally against to use any kinds of chemical fertilizers in the farm. We were clear that we would not use any chemicals and tried to explain it to him. Writer told him his opinion about the pesticides, about the chemical fertilizers, and a writer also trying to convince his friend. He reacted as if we had suggested harakiri. His reaction was like a writer had surrendered himself. हाराकिरी म्हणजे आत्मघात करणे, आत्महत्या करणे, स्वतःला जखमी करणे म्हणजे हाराकिरी. किंवा परिस्थिती पुढे शरणागती पत्करणे. तो मोरुदाबा अशा पद्धतीने रिॲक्ट होतो की लेखक स्वतःच काहीतरी वाईट करून घेणार आहे. It took a lot of convincing to ensure that Morudada and his friends did not use any chemicals on the farm. After so many times, while talking again and again on the same topic, Morudada was convinced that fertilizers or pesticides were not good for the plants or for the farm. They refused to understand how crops could grow without sprays. They haven't seen that crops would grow naturally without any kinds of chemicals or pesticides. And that's why they were not able to understand the writer's way. They were not able to understand the writer's opinion. Contrary to what everyone had told us. Everyone told the writer that a writer should spray some pesticides. Writer should use some chemicals in the farm, but a writer was totally against it. Nature did her job and she needed no bribes to get the work done. A writer has not used any chemicals or fertilizers in the farm, and nature had done its job properly. So it proved by the nature that nature did not expect bribe. To use chemical, to use pesticide, it is like giving bribe to the nature for good production. लेखक म्हणतात की पुन्हा एकदा प्रूव्ह झालं, निसर्गाने त्याचं काम केलं आणि लेखकाला चांगलं उत्पन्न मिळालं. लेखकाच्या शेतामध्ये चांगल्या पद्धतीचं पीक आलं आणि म्हणून लेखक म्हणतात की हे पुन्हा एकदा सिद्ध झालं की निसर्गाला लाच द्यावी लागत नाही. निसर्गाला आपल्याकडून लाचेची अपेक्षा नसते. म्हणजे शेतामध्ये पेस्टिसाइड किंवा रासायनिक खतं वापरणं, रासायनिक केमिकल वापरणं हे निसर्गाला लाच देण्यासारखं आहे. Soon it was harvest time and we managed a respectable 300 kilograms of moong. काही दिवसातच हार्वेस्ट टाइम म्हणजे ते शेंगांची काढणी करायची वेळ. मूंग gram would become mature, and after that they had to harvest. They had to done harvest in the farm. ते पिकाची काढणी करतात आणि 300 किलोग्राम एवढं त्यांना उत्पन्न मिळतं त्या शेतातून पहिल्या वेळेस. An awful lot of moong, खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात त्यांना मुगाचं उत्पन्न मिळालेलं असतं. And with it a lot of confidence, and because of that a writer had a confidence in himself, in his technique. He had increased his confidence. Now I was certain the land was fertile and that it was possible to grow crops without chemicals. After that he was confident that he was right. He was doing the right thing. He was walking on the right direction, and that's why he was fully confident about himself, about his own ways. He was also realizing that the land was productive, the land was good, and without using any chemicals, any pesticides, we could grow any plant. We could grow any crops in the farm. It was a major moral booster. There were some people who were now able to believe in a writer. They were able to understand what a writer was trying to say. There were few people, they could understand how a writer had taken a better yield, a better production without using any chemicals or any pesticides. इथं 300 किलोग्राम उत्पन्न मिळाल्यानंतर, शेंगाचं उत्पादन 300 किलोग्राम झाल्यानंतर लेखकाला खूप जास्त आनंद होतो. लेखकाचा स्वतःचा कॉन्फिडन्स वाढतो आणि लेखकाची खात्री पडते की ही जमीन चांगली आहे आणि या जमिनीमध्ये आपण कसल्याही प्रकारचे केमिकल्स किंवा कसल्याही प्रकारची खतं न वापरता आपण या शेतामध्ये चांगल्या पद्धतीनं पिकाचं उत्पादन घेऊ शकतो. आणि त्यामुळं moral booster means a writer was motivated. Moral booster चा मी अर्थ सांगितलेला आहे. The capacity of people to maintain belief. म्हणजे काही जण लेखकावर विश्वास ठेवायला तयार होतात. The scent of rice. In the second season, this was the first season. In the first season, for the first time, a writer had taken the production of moon, and after that he was ready, he was well prepared to grow rice in his farm. So the scent of rice. The first year I was late for the rice sowing season and had to resort to growing the GR4 variety. For the first season, for the first time, the first year, he was late. The rice sowing season was already passed, but he was not able to sow the rice in his farm. So the season was already passed. So as early as possible, he could sow any crop or any variety of the rice, and that's why he had chosen GR4 variety out of necessity. There was no other option in front of the writer, and that's why he had chosen that variety of the rice. That variety was short term and recommended by the agricultural officers at Kosbad. Kosbad is another village near the Pet, and the agricultural officers of the Kosbad, they had suggested that variety GR4, and it was short term. The next year we decided that we would start early and try to find some good traditional variety of rice to grow. After sowing the rice, after sowing that variety of rice in the farm, a writer was not satisfied. A writer was not happy, because that was a hybrid variety. That was not desi variety, and he wanted to sow desi variety of the rice. So that year he had decided that from the next year he would start early, means he would prepare his land early, and then he would have some time to find the desi variety of the rice, traditional variety or desi variety. We had read about traditional varieties of rice and knew that they did not require very high inputs of fertilizers. He had read somewhere about the traditional variety of rice, and he would have taken more information about those varieties of rice, and after that he had realized that these kinds of varieties did not require chemicals or pesticides. Without chemicals, without pesticides, we could grow these varieties of rice. These varieties were also quite strong and resisted pests. These varieties were strong, म्हणजे ते जे देशी बियाणं असतं ते फक्त केमिकल शिवाय उगवून येतं असं नाही, तर ते देशी बियाणं किडीचा प्रतिकार करू शकतं. पेस्ट्स म्हणजे त्याच्यावर कोणता रोग पडला तर त्याचा ते प्रतिकार करू शकतं. It could attack, it could stick in the difficult situation. म्हणजे ते वाईट परिस्थितीत सुद्धा जिवंत राहू शकतं, त्याची चांगल्या पद्धतीने वाढ होऊ शकते. रेजिस्टेड पेस्ट, रेजिस्टेड मीन्स तुम्हाला सांगितलं टू अपोज. We were sure that it was this type of rice that would grow well in our farm where we did not use any chemicals at all. He was confident about traditional varieties that it would grow well in his farm because he was not using any chemicals. Our previous year's experience and low yield had taught us a lesson, and we were sure we would not plant hybrids this year. In the last year, he was not satisfied. He had sown the hybrid variety named as GR4, and the production was not good, not as expected by the writer, and that's why he was not happy about the hybrid varieties. So he had decided that at any cost he wouldn't sow hybrid variety from the next year. In April 2005, we started to look for a good variety of traditional rice. In 2005, he had started his search for the good traditional variety of the rice. It was one of our neighbors in the village, a businessman from Mumbai who owned a land, who suggested that we plant a local scented variety of rice. His neighbor, he was a businessman from Mumbai and he owned a land nearby writer. So they were neighbors, and he suggested that they would grow traditional variety, scented variety in their farm. Most of the farmers in and around the village of Pet had switched over to hybrids. मोस्ट ऑफ द फार्मर्स म्हणजे बरेचसे शेतकरी, बहुतांश शेतकरी त्या पेठ नावाच्या गावाजवळ, त्या गावाच्या आसपास राहणारे इतर शेतकरी यांनी देशी व्हरायटी शेतामध्ये पेरणं बंद केलेलं असतं. सगळेजण आता हायब्रिड व्हरायटीचा वापर करत असतात. The younger generation of farmers thought I was crazy to ask for the desi variety as they called it. the younger generation of the nearby villages, they were astonished, they were surprised when they knew that a writer was in search of desi variety of rice, traditional variety of rice. My regular visits to the villages around searching for a good traditional variety also did not yield any results, and we were almost giving up hope. He had visited nearby villages regularly in order to search the traditional variety of rice. But he was not successful, and he was giving his hope. Means he was surrendering, he was almost surrendering in front of the situation. लेखकानं जवळपास शरणागती पत्करलेली असते, म्हणजे त्या देशी बियाण्याचा शोध सोडून दिलेला असतो. लेखकाला आता अपेक्षा राहिलेली नसते की आता हे बियाणं सापडेल. एवढ्या मोठ्या प्रमाणात आजूबाजूच्या परिसरात राहणारे शेतकरी हे हायब्रिड बियाण्याचा वापर करत असतात. देशी बियाणं कोणाकडेच नसतं. I decided to give it one last try and spoke to Baban's father and some other elders. लेखक एक शेवटचा प्रयत्न करतात. लेखक ज्या गावामध्ये राहत असतात, कदाचित हा त्यांचा मित्र असावा बबन, त्याच्या वडिलांशी बोलतात आणि त्या गावातील इतर आणखी काही वयस्कर लोकांशी बोलतात. आफ्टर मेनी मीनिंगफुल कॉन्व्हर्सेशन्स दे मेन्शन द नेम ऑफ कसबाई. आणि बरेच दिवस बराच वेळ चर्चा केल्यानंतर ते काही लोक जे वयस्कर असतात ते त्या बियाण्याचं नाव सुचवतात. म्हणजे तोपर्यंत लेखकाला त्या बियाण्याचं नाव सुद्धा माहीत नसतं. त्या बियाण्याचं नाव असतं कसबाई. सो नाव वी शुड स्टॉप हिअर. I hope you can understand. From today I have changed my technique of teaching you. Before this lecture I haven't write words on the blackboard, but now from today I am going to write the new words on the blackboard. Before that I was going to tell orally, but from today I am going to write the blackboard, write on the blackboard. So I hope you can understand this lesson. This is not difficult to understand, it is very easy. So thank you very much.